I would say, outside of that, I want to find more things that I can do here on the ground in Ghana. But because I'm still new, I'm still learning more about the industry. When my mother was sick and I needed a way, to be able to stay home with her and to care for her and be able to work remotely. So I started doing that, just doing communications, admin tasks, helping with developing websites and things like that. And then I continue to do that. My mother is late now, but when I came to Ghana, that was a way for me to.
Every human being, according to the conception of life, the worldview of these people, that every human being is supposed to go through in that cyclical manner, moving from the physical world to the spiritual world and back, and they're just continuously in a cycle.
Kwaminat TV, promoting African businesses home and abroad. Kwaminat TV, the best and the only way to sell your brand to the world. Kwaminat TV, promoting African.
Welcome to Kwaminat TV again. Today too, I'm here at Tutu with the beautiful people. When I say beautiful people, they are beautiful people because you can see the smile in their faces, and I mean how happy they are. Ghana is a blessing. Africa is a blessing place to be. Yeah. And most of the time we run away to the other place whilst we can do something in Africa. There's so many things to do that we can't even finish it. We let people come into Africa to take over things that we have to do. But today, I'm here with a intellectual, a businessman. He does everything. And the wife is also another. I will not say much. I will just leave them, let them introduce themselves and tell you what they do. Kwaminat TV promote African businesses home and abroad, as you guys know, and talk to intellectuals, entrepreneurs, diasporans. I have diasporan here. I have intellectual here. I have entrepreneur here. There's so many things going here in Ghana. And at the same time, we're going to talk about Ghana in whole. It's only Accra is Ghana, or there's so many places to see that people comes, mostly the diasporans, we come to Ghana and we only look at Accra, Cape Coast, Pram Pram. That's all. Whilst we have beautiful places that even the Ghanaians themselves, those who are locals, I say locals, we don't travel to that places. For example, in the north, when you are heading to the north, we have Kintampo waterfall, you go to Bole, we have so many things, Paga, Wa. We're going to talk about a lot today. So keep watching Kwaminat TV, like, subscribe, and share. And guys, do me a favor, give me likes on this video and leave comments. Anything that you don't understand, just leave comment. Those people are open and they will come back and reply you. Or if you even want to talk to them, because they are entrepreneurs and they also the same thing have an organization that I'm not going to say much. I'm talking too much. Leave it to Mr.
Luanga Songsori.
Luanga Songsori. Are we there now?
Okay. So as I just mentioned, my name is Luanga Songsori. I'm 29 years old. I come from the cultural linguistic group known as the Dagaba, who are found in the northwestern part of Ghana. Okay. And then some of them, or some of us, can also be found in some parts of Burkina Faso and then Cote d'Ivoire.
Okay.
Yeah. And then this is my wife.
Yes.
Introduce yourself.
Okay.
Mom, introduce yourself for me.
Yes. So my name is Nakia. I also go by Yelayini, which is a Dagaba name or Dagare name, which means one word, about the importance of speaking brief and the profoundness of the word. I originally come from Baltimore, Maryland, in the United States. I came to Ghana and moved here about 2 years ago, and that was when I met Lawanga. And we've been together ever since and now have a beautiful 5-month-old baby. Wow. So I am a mother. I'm also an executive virtual assistant to business owners and just a Black woman on my path, to promote and help the African culture and the continent so that we can move forward as a race. So that's me.
I like your intro.
Yeah.
I said I'm going to talk to beautiful people, and you can even see. And also, I mean, you can see from the introduction, you know. Let's go to Mr. again.
Luanga.
Luanga. I have to remember the name, Mr. Luanga. Mr. Luanga, first of all, tell us exactly what you do.
I do a number of things.
That is what I want to hear.
Yes.
I work at the University of Ghana at the Institute of African Studies. There's a major project running there called the Decolonization, the Disciplines and the University Project. And I'm the project assistant to this project. And at the same time at the Institute, I'm also pursuing a PhD in African Studies. And I'm in my 3rd year right now. Outside of the University of Ghana, I work with an agency which is called repatriateToGhana.com. And in many ways, this agency, we see it as a continuation of the Back to Africa movement by Nana Marcus Mosiah Garvey, which was really interested in relocating and rerouting our ancestors and whose descendants now exist in the diaspora to come back to the continent after what we generally call the Ma'afa, all of the genocide and genocidal activities that were rained down upon them, which, their descendants continue to suffer, who are our brothers and sisters who, still live in the diaspora. So basically, we do so many things to make sure that those who are willing to come can actually ground themselves and start a new life, and then be able to push it to, the best of limits. So we do things like helping them to acquire citizenship. We do things like helping them to buy land. We do things like helping them to register businesses. We do things like helping them to build houses. We do so many things, basically. And then outside of Repatriate to Ghana, me and my family, we run a business where we make clothing, African clothing, from indigenous fabric coming from northern Ghana that we call wori.
I mean, my sister is the one that started. She's doing the heading. Can you tell me your name, please?
Yes, my name is Smani Petrolina.
Smani
Petrolina.
Petrolina. Hey, that is a beautiful name. I guess this name is from where? North?
Me too, I don't know.
You don't.
They
How do you call it in your local language?
Worry.
Woolly, yeah, woolly, yeah. This is woolly. That is the local one, and this is handmade weaving cloth. It's handmade one. That means it's powerful, and the quality is extraordinary. You
started 2003. I went to vocational school.
Oh, you did it in school?
I learned it in school.
Which some people, call Northern Kente. I consider it as a misnomer.
Northern Kente.
Because it sort of like reduces the value and identity of this fabric by allowing it lie under the shadow of the Kente. We use that to make all kinds of clothing, the traditional clothing that it is known to be used to be made, and then also other contemporary styles like collared shirts and then long sleeve shirts, trousers, and what have you that people wear in the corporate world. So we try to spread out our wings to cater for as many people's needs in the center of fashion as possible and make them understand that there's still some beauty in the African traditional idea of fashion and so on and so forth. Yeah, so I do that too. And then finally, I'm also into small agriculture. I have a small farm. Me and my family own some land here up on the mountain in Mampong. That's the next town.
Yeah, next town. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I do small agriculture. I do moringa farming.
Oh wow!
I have some plantains on my land. I have bananas. Cassava. I have cocoyams, and I have some green leafy vegetables from northern Ghana like bere and then alefi. So it's a number of things going on, and then I'm going to start a small backyard garden soon. I'm using pallets to make garden beds so that we can grow, other vegetables like,
tomatoes and all those. Yeah.
and some vegetables that my lovely wife here has been saying, oh, I don't find these things over here.
Yes.
Which one is it?
Collard greens.
You know, there are some vegetables
Yeah.
you don't find here, but I think you
Yeah.
can also make it here as
Yes, that's true.
yeah.
Mhm.
And my sister, tell me exactly what you also do here.
Okay, so I guess first and foremost, I'm a mother now, so that takes a lot of my time.
That is a lot
You
of
know,
responsibility,
yes, my
24/7.
responsibility with my beautiful daughter, and you know, also as a mother with my niece who lives with us, helping to do homeschooling for her.
Okay.
So, and I also plan to homeschool my daughter. So, a lot of my time is also dedicated to educating them. Even as a 5-month-old baby, I'm sitting there, I read with her, I do things with her, just trying to help her move forward and progress. Also assisting my husband and all the activities that he does, as he mentioned, there's a number of things he does. So just supporting him in his career. So that's that's really like my primary concern, I would say, is my child, and then also my husband, and supporting them in their activities. Beyond that, I'm also a poet and a writer. So I am currently working on a book of photography and poetry, which is why I initially came to Ghana. And that is a book that has a collection of photographs from Uganda, Tanzania, Ghana, Brazil, and in the United States. So outside of that, I'm an executive virtual assistant as well. So I work with business owners and a lot of just like administrative tasks. And I really got into that at the time when my mother was sick, and I needed a way, to be able to stay home with her and to care for her and be able to work remotely. So I started doing that, just doing communications, and admin tasks, helping with developing websites and things like that. And then I continue to do that. My mother is late now, but when I came to Ghana, that was a way for me to be able to still earn and be here remote, and work remotely. Yeah. So I would say, outside of that, I want to find more things that I can do here on the ground in Ghana. But because I'm still new, I'm still learning more about the industries and the things that I can really get myself involved in community work. Because that's a lot of the stuff that I was doing back in the U.S. So I want to be able to continue some of that here. But I'm still scoping the terrain and seeing how I can make my contribution. Yeah.
I love that it's still open terrain. And you say you are poetry.
Yes.
Do you have any little short poems that you can
I can share.
You can share. You can
I
share
can
with
share
us.
a clip. I can share a clip with you after, and that you can use. I have a number of clips I can share with you.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
So that I can use, because I would love to bring just a bit of your poems.
Yes, I can. I'll share a clip with you so that you can share with the audience.
I can share with the people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hang tight to my dreams like a waist bead. Self-evolution takes effort like a manual 5-speed. You got to put your hands on your future as if it's raw shade. And I pray that the ancestors stay with you so your obstacles will levitate. Your spirit and your mind is naturally abundant like the Serengeti. Every act is a word manifesting meaning in your life, so your living is vocabulary.
Oh, so let me come back to you again. You said it, African. You are in African studies, isn't it?
Sure.
Why do you decide to go into African studies? Because in Ghana here, or let's say in Africa, people love to do Western education most of the time. Is it so Western education? But you are studying, specialized in African studies. Why? Tell us a bit more.
That's a very interesting question. I'll try to keep it brief because I have a lot to say on this question. But I would say I give credits to my upbringing. Even though I came from a predominantly Catholic background, was born in Wa, and I grew up there. My father was very conscious about culture, even though he practiced Christianity. He was very conscious about culture. He loved to wear African clothing. And then beyond that, he liked to listen to reggae music. There's no need to overstress the point that reggae music, some of it, you can find how it is inspired by African culture and all these kinds of things. So basically, my environment shaped me, both immediate and then external. And then also the music, which I began to beyond the music, I used to ask myself the question of, okay, so who is Burning Spear? Who is Bob Marley? What do they do beyond their music? So my father introducing me to reggae music, allowed me to take the search a step further to find out about these people. And in Googling and then asking questions and doing research about them, I found other people who were associated to them. So basically my interest and my understanding of, a more global African culture, which was bigger and enveloped even my minute space, the Gaba culture, and all of that. I was getting to understand a more global African culture, and then eventually I began to embrace different ideas, started to learn about Nana Marcus Garvey, Nana Malcolm X, and all the big greats,
freedom fighters,
exactly, and so on and so forth, who have come to define and then revive and put Africans on a new path towards her liberation. So, fast forward to my growth into this space. Of course, as I was growing, I was asking so many questions about why everyone was a certain way. Why do we have to go to church? Why do we have to not wear African clothing? Because I didn't see any reason why we shouldn't. And for a very long time, I grappled with these ideas, and eventually I would say I immersed myself more deeply into culture as I grew from my small home space in Wa, and coming into Accra to the university and everything. So for the most part, I would say that my interest in African studies was really an extension of the consciousness and the life or essence that I'd already created for myself. So I felt that it would be better to go to a space and operate in a space that is accepting of my identity.
Yes, sir.
The regular Ghanaian doesn't dress the way I dress.
That's true.
The regular Ghanaian doesn't go without shoes, but I go everywhere without shoes. I travel both in Ghana and outside Ghana without shoes. And these are
without shoes.
Yes.
But you wear slippers.
No,
African slippers.
No, I don't wear shoes. I go bare.
We're barefoot.
Yes.
Wow.
Both in Ghana and outside Ghana.
Okay.
So
what about if you get to Europe and it's winter time?
Fortunately, I haven't gone to Europe yet. So
you go to America and it's a winter time.
Fortunately,
you haven't been there
yet.
yet.
So,
okay.
Yeah, but I've gone to several places outside of Ghana, that without shoes, and then I have been pretty fine. And so basically, all these ideas and all these behavioral traits are not very conventional in the normal Ghanaian society.
Ghanaian society, that's true. Yeah.
So African studies was really for me a space that was going to allow me to further delve into the things that I was already dealing with, both theoretically and then in practice, and then also somehow felt like a safe space, quote unquote, for my development.
This is very interesting.
Yeah.
I love what you're saying, and it makes me feel that we still have pure Africans. If I say I'm African, but you say I'm wearing white man's clothes, or you know what I mean? This was made here, but it's still designed as
we can design something for you.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's great.
We can design something for you made with this fabric, and then we can emboss
my Kwaminat TV in?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, then I would love to have that.
Yes.
I would love to have that because it's something that I always think about it, at least. Like I'm coming here like this because I do interview with different type of people. So like I'm coming, I could wear my pure Africa. I love wearing African clothes. So, and I live in Western world for almost about 33 years of my life. Yeah, I left Ghana at a young age. Went for hustling. Germany, UK. I've been to States. I've been to some part of Europe, but I basically in German and UK. Stay in German for about 16 years. Then UK also about 16, 17 years now. Been in America for 4 or 5 months. I wanted to relocate, all kind of, Sweden and, all sort of, but then, now I'm in Ghana. Yeah, I stay in Ghana more than going there. The kids are there, so I do, but I stay in Ghana more than going there. And I said, having a conversation with people like you, it's something that how do I put it? It makes me happy for you guys to share your story, encourage someone over there who don't understand, who think Africa it's not a place to be. What I want is like if everyone will be able to come and see, even not even to live, just to come and see what is happening here, which is very, very, very important. Don't get me wrong. There's also hardships here in Africa. In Ghana, for example, we'll talk about Ghana. There's a lot of different people. There's people who can scam you. There's people who can also direct you in the right direction. Mostly the diasporans that come in. And so what you said that you guys help people to build, to acquire land, citizenship, I'm very happy. I heard about it before, There's a couple of times that I wanted to come here. I've been here several times to interview, talk to Nana, but I hadn't had opportunity to meet you. I have a problem on the platform of people being duped. That means they don't do the research, or they do it, but at the same time, people that they talk to them still and trust them still. So this is one of the keys that I want people to know, that we still have people here. If you make a proper research, or if you come through the platform, definitely no one is going to take your money or dupe you or scam you. I have a case on the platform that I did somewhere last August, and just even 25th December I did another one, and I have another one which is oncoming that people trying to scam them. They scam them, not that they've done it, but just because they fall in the wrong hands. So my advice to people outside there, when you are coming, look at a platform like something like this. Repatriate to Ghana. Go to those people. I mean, nothing goes free. There will be a fee to pay, but your money will not go. No one will scam you. So please, guys, I'm very happy and glad to talk to you guys today.
There's a saying that, which I think it applies to the situation, is that it's better to know someone in the village than to know the village.
That's it.
And that is a lot of how Ghana is set up. Like you said, there's people who can scam you. There's people who will direct you. But it's about not just knowing the place, but also knowing the people. The trusted people in the place. And a lot of us who are coming from, abroad, like for me, I was really the first person in my family to come. My mother had wanted to come. She transitioned before she could. My father wanted to come as well. He transitioned before he could come. And I'm like the pioneer for my family, really. So when now they come to me for the stories, like to really know the truth about Africa, because they know what they see online or what they see on TV is not all the way true. So when I'm saying, I rent a place, I have running water, I have electricity, like these are just basic things that Africa has, but some of us, our warped mentalities, because of how the Europeans have unfortunately traumatize our minds about our own homeland.
That's true.
So it takes a lot of re-education, and some of us need that personal experience. My siblings just recently came, and they were amazed at just going around to Accra and seeing things. Like some places you might go to, you'll feel like you're in the U.S. or in somewhere. And,
of course,
because the continent, beyond just there are challenges with some of the infrastructure. But overall, you can see some development happening. It's a lot of development happening rapidly. Even where we are, it's happening. And you have to also get out the mindset, I feel like, of the infrastructure and just buildings, because that's not all that development is. No. And that's what the U.S. and all the European countries suffer from. They don't have moral development. They don't have social development.
No.
And they struggle. There's so much violence and killings from the city that I'm from in Baltimore. When I went back, every day on the news, homicides, children, pregnant women. It's like men little boys.
That's true.
All the time this
That's
is
true.
happening. So when you come here in Ghana, I'm not saying there's no crime or no violence at all, but I am saying that there is a level of respect for humanity, a level of respect for your fellow human being.
That's true.
Right? And like I can go out on the street with my baby, and if I'm struggling, somebody will come to help me. Somebody will come to grab the baby. And in the U.S., you wouldn't do that.
No.
Nobody would come to grab your baby, and you wouldn't even let them because you don't even know or trust who they are.
That's true.
And obviously, you have to use discernment even in Ghana because it's not like but you still have a certain level of respect for your elders, respect for the human spirit, respect for culture, respect for the family, because even that is becoming that's becoming an issue even in the U.S. Just like keeping the black family together. So to me, those are the things that you really have to look at when you're coming from abroad and just seeing it from a different perspective and understanding the value that Africa has. And like you said, a lot of foreigners beyond us, like the Chinese, Lebanese, Indians, are here building big businesses.
Big ones.
Very
Extreme big.
And they see the opportunity and the potential for the African future. So we also need to see the same and be able to exceed them, honestly. Because we are the originators and the people who were on this land before they came. So as black people, as Ghanaians here, and that's also to collaborate with those in the diaspora who have a similar vision, that we have to move forward as a race, because that's what this is about. It's all about power.
Yeah.
And power is usually determined by race. People move along their racial lines. Chinese people do their business with themselves. I mean, they'll do some small business with us.
And you know what happened? I don't want to cut you, but
Yes.
Chinese will come here, get a contract here,
Yes.
and he'll bring his own people
Yes.
to come and work
And that's
for
what
them.
I mean.
Yeah, and
That racial allegiance
Yes.
to want to put yourself first. And I think it's okay to do that as black people. Sometimes we don't feel, are we being racist? We want to be global. No, that's not the point.
No.
We have to be thinking about power.
Think
That
about-
means you have to be thinking about your people.
First.
We are clearly behind in world politics because of the history and how people have oppressed us. So we have to be very diligent and moving forward. So, that's just some of the things I think, and for the black people in the diaspora, we have a responsibility as well to help build this. Like you said, you don't have to come if you don't want to. You don't have to come and live if you don't want to live. But at least you can come. You can come see. You can come see investment opportunities that you can help to build. You can come build a retirement property for yourself, so that when you're finished all your work in the West, you want to come back and be able to build here and teach people what you know. Do that, but at least get involved with Africa somehow. Because this is our home, this is our heart, and without it, we won't be able to move forward. The U.S., Europe, all those places, at the end of the day, those are white empires, and they're going to protect their own interests. So we have to be able to protect our own interests too, which is this continent. And as you can see, other people are exploiting it. We need to be able to protect it and preserve it. So, I thought I'd give a little minute.
Yeah. And I mean, I definitely agree with all that she has been saying.
Yeah.
Just to add a little footnote to the point, the old colonizers who we think have gone because we claim to have attained independence as black nations on the continent are definitely still riding on our backs in, less apparent ways, and then perhaps even more destructive ways.
Yes.
And then now
Than even first.
Exactly.
Because I think first was physical, and now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we have the new colonizers coming in. For example, China. She just spoke about and all of that. And the real point really is, sometimes I think about the reason why black people outside of the continent are very hesitant when it comes to coming down to Africa, for example, to redefine themselves and work towards black power on the continent, which is our base. And one of the easiest things one can think about is, perhaps because they're supposed to be in their comfort zone, because in terms of differentials, in terms of material development, people would normally feel that, this place has better whatever, which is the reason why we even find continentals, people on the continent, wanting to go out, because they claim they're seeking greener pastures. But then the mistake is that the US, the entirety of so-called Europe, and then so-called Asia, predominantly China, for example, all of the reasons why they are materially advanced, today is because of the looting and pillaging of the resources that are in Africa. So the US is the way it is because the US steals literally
That's of course
from Africa, all the resources in the Congo,
and they're still
in Ghana, where we are, and they're still doing so. So why do you have to wait for the resources to be stolen and be continuously stolen to make you feel comfortable when you can come to the resources and re-engineer those resources to create whatever comforts you think you may be enjoying in the US or elsewhere in white people country? Why don't you come here and then work with those resources and the people who are already here to develop Africa and to develop Black power? Because under every circumstance, by staying there and by staying, under white hegemony, there is no way that Black people can attain any modicum of power or dominance in a land that they do not control or that they do not necessarily have access to. So fundamentally, I'm excited that my wife is here. I'm excited that other people that we have helped to repatriate in various degrees on repatriate to Ghana are here, and other agencies that are doing similar work are, helping Black people to come here because this is our base. This is where we can reorganize ourselves very easily in order to procure Black power for all of the other predominantly Black nations like IT and Jamaica and so on and so forth, which are out of the continent. But once Kemet attains power, then that power is going to spill over into some of those, Black dominated places that are outside of the continent. We just have to take the work seriously. We have to have a conceptual clarity. We have to know where we are headed. And we have to know that fundamentally, powerful people do not necessarily, want powerless people to take their power away from them. Of course. So at any point in time, it would be in the interest of white people to keep Black people subjugated so that they can continue to enjoy the dominance that they have been enjoying. And then if we understand history, we will understand that Black people have attained power at a certain point, and then we can do it again. And we just have to apply ourselves to the task and have a conceptual clarity and be ready to translate the information that we can draw from our ancestry to apply it to these new times so that we can attain power.
I was just about to ask you about, because we are in Black History Month. So as a African Studies man, you deal mostly about history. I was just about to ask you about chipping a bit of Black history for other people to know, because day in, day out, we get kids that are grown up.
Yeah.
They don't know. My kids, for example, they have no idea about, because they were born there, grown up there. They only know that they are from Africa. They've been here a couple of times, but they didn't get anything in school. And platforms like this at least teaches them. I had a conversation with Dr. Kambon here, I think 2 years ago, and I'm telling you, still people comment on that. They want more. So you having opportunity to have you today, just tell us a bit about Black history. Kemet, too much, because I heard Kemet from Dr. Kambon, and you mentioned it today.
So
just anything at all about Africa and billion years ago, thousands of years ago.
It's so much history.
It's so
rich in that.
It's so much history, and then basically, I would want to say that the nucleus of the Black nation that we're supposed to be building right now, and the nucleus of the Black nation that once was when Africa was in its grandest glory, begins with the family. And I want to say that because my wife is here, I want to be able to emphasize the point that we are making Black history as a story. So this is Black history. And all the things that we do, this is Black history. Being able to identify
The first step to courage is to affirm and to visualize. The second step is moving your legs after your eyes. Warrior woman Abarega Toya of Haiti left me encouraged. Fear is like a weak muscle. If you put weight on it, it will strengthen into courage. So lift when you're scared and you're doubting or even exhausted. Without your help, even water won't flow from a faucet. So are you willing to work for your higher self when success is a series of tests? Because the Creator feeds all birds, but doesn't put food directly in their nest.
This is
That's where what Africans
we
were.
thrive in Kantanka.
Kantanka, yeah,
We
which we are going to come to
Exactly.
it, yeah.
In every arena, our mobile phones, this is, African made. This is from Rwanda. Previously, before then, I was using a phone, KTA, which is designed by a Ghanaian. How many Ghanaians know that? Kwesichum Ampofo.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
initially
About that,
exactly, a very nice man and all of that. So in every arena of our lives, in the Somsori household, we are making Black history. And that is the nucleus of what is supposed to be the Black nation, because Black families come together to form Black communities, and Black communities will come together to form Black nations, so that we can actually resuscitate the glory that once was in Kemet, and so on and so forth. And just in giving a little bit of perspective, to the point that I'm about to make, I just want to throw a little caveat. By drawing on the work of Nana Amos Wilson, he says that if our study of history is supposed to make us feel good about ourselves, then we will die feeling good about ourselves. So our study of history is supposed to allow us to be able to apply the lessons in history to change our current condition. And that's the reason why I started by giving credibility and then reverence to what we're doing as a Somsori household, because we study history, and as we study history on a daily basis, we try to make sure that whatever lessons we're learning from history are supposed to give us the power that we need today. So we can go, back to Nana Marcos Mosiah Garvey, for example, who is one of the greatest, 20th century organizers of Black people towards Black liberation, and so on and so forth. And he was able to attract several millions of Black people. Whatever we're doing, I mentioned repatriate to Ghana, that's a continuation of that. If we go all the way back to Kemet, for several thousands of years, this ancient Black empire, that was run in every aspect of its structure as an organism, was dominated by Black people. The ideology, the history, the science, and Kemet and the history and heritage of Kemet laid the foundation for many things that we find today. People talk about to the degree that white people at a certain point, and even now in different ways, are still trying to deface and remove Black people from their association with this great empire. So there's a lot that can be learned from Kemet, from politics to math to science to astronomy, and everything that you can think about as a discipline of learning. And then they were able to use this knowledge that they had to develop that civilization, which is why everyone is thinking about it, which is why everyone talks about it, and which is why, we as Black people of today, must be able to use that history all as far back as that point, and even our recent history, talking about, the different empires, that sprawled in Ouagadougou, Songhai, Niamey, which is usually called Mali
Empire,
and all the intellectuals.
With the richest people.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mansa Musa.
Exactly, and so on and so forth. So, it is needless to keep talking about history if history is not valuable to us. So I keep making drawing a few points from history, but then most especially connecting it to why history is important, why I'm talking about history, in whatever paltry manner that I'm doing it right now. So definitely, Black History Month, and that's the month we're in February, right? Which started as a Negro History Week, because it has its precursor to the Negro History Week. Started by Nana Carter G. Woodson in 1926, and then it started in the US. Now it has spilled over We celebrate it here in Ghana, it's still celebrated in the US, in Canada, and then in some parts of so-called Europe as well.
So yeah.
And it is one of those moments that Black people are supposed to, of course, remember, reflect, and most importantly, take action and make resolutions so that we can better our condition. So while it's still important to celebrate Black History Month, we, in collaboration with the NAFTI, we have been hosting Black History Month, the Black History Month Film Festival. It was basically started at the University of Ghana, the Institute of African Studies by Professor Kambon, then for Opadele Kambon. And then it was eventually migrated to NAFTI. And we've been organizing that, for a number of years now. And we're still respecting, that program and that moment in history. But even beyond celebrating Black History Month, we should celebrate Black history and live Black history on a daily basis. And that's the most important thing. And that is what is going to give us the power that we're supposed to attain by being quintessentially Black.
Keep watching Kwaminat TV, like, subscribe, and share. Guys, this is amazing. As you guys that ask me about history, this is one of them that is coming in your way. As he said, if we always talk about history, what has passed, we also have to live it. The way I understand, we have to live it. Because by living it, it will make us feel, and also the new people that come in, our kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, will automatically have it rather than taking the Western history like we are in. I don't take myself out. I live like a Westerner because of living there. But it doesn't exempt me from practicing it if I'm in Africa.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So let's go into the business aspect of it. Yes. We've talked a bit, but let's go into business aspect of it, because this is what Kwaminat TV is all about, to promote African businesses, to showcase Africa, and let people know that Africa is a great continent. It's a beautiful continent. It's a freedom. The freedom is everywhere. And you can do business. If Chinese, Indians, right now, if you go to Accra, not only Chinese, Indians, Bangladesh, all those people are coming, the Turkish, everyone is looking into Africa, and we are going over there. Africa has about 1.2 billion people with a massive land. You see, if someone tells you that we don't have land, or we are getting poor because of we should stop giving birth, it's all lie. It's just to wipe us and take our land. But now let's go into business. Tell us much about, because I know everything that you spoke about, it's there and it can be implemented and it can work if people want to come. A lot of people want to come to Africa to do business, mostly the diasporans, both the local diasporans. If I say the local diasporans, that's those who were born here and live over there, and those who have been taken from here 500 years ago by force. Some of them, I say most of them want to come, but how to do, it's another problem. So you being in that session with a lot of different type of businesses, just tell us.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about BB Creations, which is our fashion store. And then it is basically grounded in 3 segments, and those 3 segments are personified in me, personified in her, and then personified in my sister, who is actually actively
working now.
So I'll let her talk about her segment, and I can talk about mine, and then my sister.
Yes, sister later.
So your contributions to BB Creation.
Okay. Okay. So we run a African cultural shop. It's online. And we on site at the Bury Craft Village up here.
Okay.
So for me, my role is more of the technical administrative side. So I help to develop the website, put up the products, do the photography for the site, help with marketing, of course, help with also sourcing some of the other jewelry. Like I love Fulani earrings, Fulani jewelry, mud cloth, just various different textiles and jewelries that come from other parts of Africa, because really we create the most magnificent and beautiful adornments. And if we just tap into that, and we have so much to choose from. So that's something I really want to encourage people to really look within for ourselves to see, and we have that beauty, for our attire. So those are some of the things that I do, and I assist with the shop that we run right now.
Yeah. And then basically my role it's almost a little bit of everything. So
I call him the lead traditional fashion designer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I coordinate, her activities.
Yes, that's true.
With my sister's activities, and then we have other weavers in WA that we outsource production to. Because of course, my sister alone wouldn't be able to do all the weaving, because we have orders that come in every now and then, purchases and all of that. So if we want to keep our supply running for the business, we basically have to do the outsourcing. So some of the outsourcing, and I'm basically the one who find and then interact and coordinate all these activities. I'm also into a little bit of the production. Sometimes when I have my spare time, I assist my sister.
Okay, you weave as well.
To spin the spool,
wow.
to do the weaving, and all of that.
It's a very interesting sight.
A little bit of it, not too much. She does the most of it, but sometimes I just chip in to help spin the spool and then do some of the weaving and all of that. And then when it comes to transforming the fabrics, the wori, that's how we call it, into clothing, I'm also the one lead person in touch with the various dressmakers, clothing makers that we have.
Okay.
So we have those who make the dagaparo, that's what people call the smoke or batakari or fugu.
Batakari, and fugu,
So those we make primarily from wa. So I'm in touch with the various people who do the sewing. We sew with the sewing machine, and also there are those who use the needle.
The needles, hand one,
So I'm in touch with them, and also those in Accra who make the more contemporary styles.
Okay.
Like making normal corporate trousers, cargo pants, and then sleeveless shirts with buttons, and
smock
collars.
wrap dresses, smock
and skirts, and then dresses. Like for example, something like what she's wearing that women would naturally be able to wear anywhere. So we're able to tap into contemporary styles and then draw from those styles to recreate using the indigenous fabric that we make. And then I coordinate with all of these people. And then when it comes to of course, taking shipments out, I do that with her, or sometimes I do it by myself where we take stuff, especially purchases that are
coming from outside.
From abroad.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Basically, we deal with DHL. So all of our shipments actually we use DHL to do all of our shipments.
We've done shipments outside of Africa, but also inside of Africa as well.
Because our intention is to be able to promote and disperse this indigenous knowledge and then fashion style to other parts of Africa where people might be in need of,
another part of the world as well. If someone want to wear something in the States or in UK or whatever.
And then the sense that we get is that it is okay if we do our shipments outside of the continent. We're doing business. There are other Black people elsewhere and other people who might want to buy. But the lesson or important lesson that we want to ground and emphasize is the fact that there are too many people on the African continent that we can basically do business within Africa and then prosper as a continent without really thinking about the outside world. You see what I'm saying? So we are trying to basically propel that idea that we are there's millions.
There's enough in Africa to do.
Because as soon as you get the industry started, that's the main
there's
thing.
not enough to do here.
It's not always a point that every little thing then you want to think about outside. How about
even here in Burkina and Cote d'Ivoire
and whilst we're doing business and therefore putting ourselves in a better economic position, we're also to use this term, remixing all of the variety of culture that abounds in Africa amongst different Africans in different places. So that we are all embracing about the fact that it is not about the fact that you are Asante, or you are Dagao, or you are Ebe, or you are Basoto, or
you are Madinga, or you are Hausa, or that's
every
true.
fragment, every cultural linguistic group, and then the fragmentary culture that it holds is supposed to be for all Black people everywhere. It is our culture. So even though we speak about, we've been speaking about the worry and everything, but as you can see, we're wearing kente.
Yeah, that's true.
This is kente, which is coming from the Akan.
Akan, yeah.
This is the Bogolan, which is coming from Burkina Faso and Mali area.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, basically, and then this is Medinecha on this. So this
ancient
is
African language.
That's the ancient African language coming from Egypt, Kemet.
Okay.
So this is a sentence, Pechret pu ang, which means life is a cycle.
He can read and write it. He can read and write
it. You can read and write it?
Yes, I studied a course, and behind me is what we call the Dikinga. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see.
It's called the Dikinga. Coming from the Bakongo in Congo, and then it is their conception about life, and it basically is reinforced by this statement that life is a cycle. So that cycle you saw with the different stages, the 4 different stages, are the stages of life that every human being, according to the conception of life, the worldview of these people, that every human being is supposed to go through in that cyclical manner, moving from the physical world to the spiritual world and back, and they're just continuously in a cycle. So just by sitting here,
like a sunrise and a sunset, the cycle.
Exactly. I was sitting alone, as I've been able to demonstrate, it's a mixture of different aspects of culture that even have nothing to do with the worry that we do, which comes from just the Dagaba. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So we understand the richness and the diversity, and we embrace all this richness and diversity, which we claim as ours as Black people.
So if you come back to Africa and if you want to live like a African, basically this is what normally we should do. And sometimes there was a time that I said that coming to Africa, you need to, sorry to say that, put the Western mentality outside there. Yes. I say that not to offend anyone, but when you get to Heathrow or when you get to JFK, before you jump into the plane, try to live that in the institutions. So I keep on saying that here is a fantastic place to live, but if you come with a Western mentality, you cannot live.
Yeah,
you cannot survive because you want to get everything like the way you get over there, and you can't compare a country like, for example, Ghana, 65 or 66 years going now, into America that has 100 and something years independent, or into UK that have, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Ghana is very relational, and I think the US can be a little bit more transactional. Yeah. The price is set. That's it. You don't have to negotiate and barter. In Ghana, whatever you want to buy, you have to talk to someone.
Yeah. It's
you have to communicate. Even whatever you need done, you need to go and be able to develop a relationship with the person before they will say, okay, I'll take your case.
That's it.
For you. And that's something that we have to get used to. It's about, once again, the humanity. It's not just like business before the person.
No.
You know, so the business comes through the person. To you. And so you have to be able to respect that. And when you do, people will be more than willing to open doors for you. But you have to just kind of come with that mindset of being able to come build relationships. What do you have to offer? Not just what you want to come to take. Yeah. So that's a big difference, at least for me when I came. It's just being able to really tap into that more.
I think that is also the case. But some of the people that are coming from West, or some of the diasporans that are coming from West, as I always talk about, because even the Chinese and the other people, let me say the whites, when they come, they try to mingle. But when we come, we don't mingle. Let me give you, for example, someone has been here so many years, he never even practiced trotro before. He never even go to normal local. He or she never been to local markets before.
Yes.
They only shop in mall, to big supermarkets, mall to big supermarket. If you do that, you will not know anything about
the culture,
the culture, and what is on the
So that's the part that, like you're saying, people don't you have to take the time to, I mean, a lot of people who immigrate or move to other places in the world understand this idea of assimilation. Oh, I had to go to America. I had to get used to how the people speak. You had to do that. But when you come here, there's a certain level of African assimilation you have to do. Even though we are Black and we have been disconnected from the culture for so long that we have to readjust ourselves. So yes, you should come and get to. I was on the trail. It was hot. It was a little hot on the trail, but I was doing it. And it was affordable, and I was able to learn the land. I was going to local places and eating food. I also went to mid and more luxury places, but I ended up finding I liked more the local places better. To be honest. Yeah. And so that was something I knew I had to come here, and especially if you want to live for the long term. Now, if you come and you're just coming for holiday, you don't mind, you want to blow your money, but if you're trying to be here for the long term and invest, then you have to understand the local setup and the local terrain so that you know how to navigate and save yourself money and build those relationships that allow you to do the things you need to do. Whether you want to build a house, you want to start your business, you have to kind of be tapped in a little bit more than how we are doing right now. Sometimes we come with a very, I would say like, I don't know, too romantic idea. And I think that's because we're very excited to come to the continent. It's like, oh, my mother that you're missing and longing for. So, but you've been detached from your mom for a long time. So you got to start the conversation over again, and try to get to know where Africa is at now, and then where you can put yourself in to be able to move it forward. Yeah. So that's a big thing, I think, for us coming from abroad, to just be patient, to be humble. Yes, things don't move the same how they do in the U.S.
Yes, that's
or in other places. But the peace that's here, the level of, like you said, the relaxation that people experience is because we don't have that same tendency to put money before everything. We do have a sense of, Ghanaians do big business. Don't get me wrong. They definitely, there's some big businessmen here. So, but at the same time, people value life. So you want to be able to enjoy your life, not just like I'm hustling all the time. And that's the struggle in America most of the time. You struggling every day just to paycheck to paycheck, and you don't get to experience or enjoy time with your family. So come with, basically, I think also Ghanaians respect the traditional family setup. Also, the family life here. So if you come with a certain Western ideals around family, around gender, all of that, no. Like there's gender roles and they're respected and they are needed in society, actually. That's what I believe. I think that women do have specific roles that they should maintain. And the more that we maintain those, we are able to really push the families forward, like my husband was talking about. Yeah. And we need to maintain that. So a lot of us, you kind of got to do away with the feminist mindset. You got to go do away with that and just know, like, you have a very strong position as a woman. And as a woman, you have something you have to offer, and you're not in competition with your man. You are in complementarity with him. You are supposed to help to assist him. He's assisting you. We work together. But too often, like, we come with these ideas, and that's why we can't get along. Some of us come in relationships with African men and you can't even maintain it because the way that you're moving with your man is in opposition to our natural culture. There's no disrespect, arguing and yelling and cursing at your mate. No, you have to be able to move in such a way where you're dignified in how you move. And that's the thing I love about Ghanaian culture and just how we move overall. There's a certain level of dignity, or at least people want to uphold that level of dignity with them, with their spouse, with their, family, with community. I tell them all the time, like, I'm not used to this because and where I'm from, people, they might just tell you how they feel. But in Ghana, it's like, no, you take your time. It's about respect and you being polite so that you be able to assess the situation the way that you need. You don't just move with haste like that. So that one I respect. And the more that we come just with a open mind to those things and just accepting that this is a different culture, a different reality that we're returning to. So, be open to allowing people to know your feedback, if there's something that you want to see that needs to be changed, and help to change it. But don't come being too critical to the point where you can't see the vision of the future for the continent. You know, so it's a different lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think that those all these things you're saying are very valid. And then what I want to say is that if you want to experience Ghana and then all of the things that she's talking about, because maybe living in cosmopolitan urban Accra, it to a very large extent, because Accra is very cosmopolitan, it sometimes can feel very much like living anywhere else, in outside of Ghana, maybe in the US, in New York, or whatever the case may be. Because if you have money, you can basically live as if you're living in New York, or in London. Or
of course,
You're
yeah.
in a big car, then you're in your AC. You
Go
zoom
to the
past
press
all the
places.
beggars and poor people on the street who are selling stuff on their heads and
hawkers,
everything.
yeah.
Then you move straight into this mall, move straight into this spa, move straight into this high rise, and it's like you're basically in Ghana, but you're living in
New York,
In New York.
or in London, or
Exactly.
in Berlin, or
Exactly.
something like
Lifestyle,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to understand Ghana beyond Accra, because Ghana is bigger than Accra.
This is what that's the next topic. So you just brought it. I'm
Yeah.
not going to ask anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ghana is bigger than Accra. Even
What is
up
it,
here
like
on-
16? How many regions
Yeah,
now?
we have 16 regions now. It used to be 10. Now we have 16 regions, and we have several cultural linguistic groups. All the way from the Ga who are at the and the Fanti who are at the shoreline.
Yeah.
All the way
Seaside, yeah.
to the Dagaba, the Grunsi, and then so on and so forth, who are also at the tip there where Ghana meets Burkina Faso.
Burkina and
then-
Togo side, yeah, and
Exactly.
Ivory Coast side,
Right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So everything in between Wa, Paga, Aplao, and then the western
Elubo,
border,
Elubo. Yeah.
and then of course to the margins, Jamestown, and then Elmina.
Yeah.
Everything in
Cape
between
Coast, yeah.
is like a buffet of culture,
Which you can
which you
Which
Try-
you can try
try-
different
yes.
things.
Oh, yeah.
Put a whole
So-
bunch
so-
of on it on
Yeah.
your plate.
right, and very often, especially the northern half of Ghana is usually
Which I love. I love
very
the North,
non-existent.
Yeah.
It's very non-existent.
that is true.
Many people don't know what happens there.
Yeah.
To a very large extent, it's like it is even reduced to he comes from the north,
Yeah.
and it's like the north is just
One town.
one town.
We not even
One
say
direction.
city, yeah,
If you
one
just
direction,
from that,
boom.
Right.
you from
And
that
then
way.
then you are in the north.
You are in the north,
and then
yeah.
it's just one town.
That's it, yeah.
And all the people speaking and doing the same
The
thing
same
at
thing,
the same
yeah.
time.
That's true.
Even me, when I went to the north and I got
Exactly.
down, and I'm like, oh, they don't speak tree. I'm like saying, oh, it's a whole different.
Right.
Whole
And
different.
there's so many languages, all of which come under the bigger block of languages we call the Niger Congo, but even more specifically, they call them the Mabia languages or the Gur languages. These are technical linguistic terms. And then these come together in different forms: Dagaba, Sisala, Gonja, Guruni, Kasina, the Nanumba, and so on and so forth. It's dozens and dozens of languages up there, and then dozens and dozens of sub-realities that appear to be fragmentary, but of course are interacting and mutually intelligible in different ways. So let's explore Ghana, and explore the culture when we come to Ghana, because like my compliment was saying, it is going to allow you to be able to tap into that human beingness that is the essence of the people who live on the continent. And if you go to the other parts of the continent as well, move out of the city.
And especially for
Move out of
those,
the city, take yourself out of the
Yes.
city and explore. Because in most cases, if you go to Pretoria, if you go to Kampala, if you go to Ouagadougou, all these big cities, in most cases, it is very difficult. I mean, it's very easy for you to miss out on the true essence of
Essence
the
of
people
culture, yeah.
who are there, because these cities very much are like, if you can call them cultural economic basis for the looting of the resources of that sub-region,
That's true.
and shared, which is being shared by the various, so-called European or Western powers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, in order to interact, if you really want to know any part of Africa, get out of the city. Once you land from the airport, rush.
Bring yourself
quickly. Don't
out.
spend more than 10 minutes inside.
Straight away.
Go and have your pito to drink.
Yeah. Take the next flight.
Yes, take the next flight. Actually, flights now go to work, and then other parts of northern Ghana. Take the next flight and go and drink some pito. Don't drink anything in the city. You know, eat your sour or toza with moringa soup or whatever.
Kose, moringa.
Eat your kose and all these kinds of things, and then interact with the people, and then you then be closer to knowing what it means to actually be in Africa.
Yeah, it's true. Yes,
you're going to take me to the north.
Sure.
You know,
he's a very good guy.
Yeah. This year, I told my
Upper
audience
West specifically, since we're not saying north, the Upper West.
Yeah.
This year, I told my audience that I'm going to do something different, something different, like going to the north, going to the villages, and see how the real life is. Well, I live in Berlin almost all my life. It's one of the biggest cities in the world, and I moved to UK. London is just like I live outside London, but London is just like my daily basis place. Like you from here going to Accra, I was driving a taxi, so it's basically I know almost everywhere. I've been in New York, I've been in Sweden, Stockholm, I've been in Amsterdam, I've been in so many places. But then started the platform. I started in Berlin. My first video was in Berlin. Then I went to UK, I went to MK, Birmingham, and all the places that I've been. But this year, I decided to do mostly in Ghana. But I started basically last year, December. I went to Gambia, and I did a bit in Gambia and surrounding villages. Yeah, and I went to Senegal just for a night. I just wanted to see. So from Gambia to Senegal, then I went to Dakar just for a night, just for about, I think 5 hours or 6 hours there. Then I came back. Then I did slave dungeon in Gambia, which is Kunta Kinte, village, which I learned a lot. So it changed my perception that this year I have to do most African villages, but I start first from Ghana. That's where I'm from. So that's why I said you're going to take me to the north.
And those are very good places, I think, too. But like you were saying about the traditional culture, also for those who are wishing to relocate, you find more affordable land prices in areas further away from the city.
Standards of living.
The standards of living. Where we are here in the eastern region is way more affordable. At the time when he told me he was, we were interested in moving up the mountain, I was like, no, I want to be in the crowd. I was so used to the city life.
Yeah, that's it.
And eventually I was like, okay, I followed, his direction and lead, and I'm very glad that I did, because it's more affordable. It's definitely a lot cooler up here on the mountain.
Use romantic force to bring
But
I heard the reasoning, and I followed the vision. So, and I think that's a very, important thing. Just, like he's saying, come out of the city, especially if you're looking to relocate. You can find better land prices, and be able to develop, because things are developing so fast. Even in the Accra, it's hard now to find land. The land prices are ridiculous.
Forget
almost
it.
like. I be looking at prices like, who are they selling this to?
I'm telling you, there's some prices in Accra, you can get it about $1 million.
I'm telling you.
Yes. Which is expensive.
With $1 million, you can come out here and buy how many acres? Many acres, and still have some money left over to build your house and money left to chop. So, I think that's just something to keep in mind as well, to kind of explore the different parts, whatever African country you go to, even if it's not Ghana, but to kind of go a little bit on the outskirts and see where you can build. Because once somebody puts up a house and starts to build, in 5, 10, 15 years time, that place is going to be very developed, and that land price is going to go way up. So even if you just want to have it as an asset that you hold and then resell at a later point, you can even do that as a business move. But right now, that's my point, basically.
And to explore the country, we have the best vehicles. We have our Kantanka pickup.
Which I love.
That's it. We are there now.
Yeah. Kantanka or Mama. Basically with this, you can go anywhere and everywhere, cruising in black power across black land to meet black people. So, I mean, that's
cruising in black power.
It's
On
a steady,
that
it's a
again?
steady
On Black
ride.
land?
It's a very steady and
on
smooth
black
ride.
land
to meet black
to
people.
meet black people.
That's
It's
right.
automatic. It's push to start. Leather seats. It's
Yeah.
very comfortable.
Very
Display.
comfortable.
Like it's very nice. Heated seats even.
Yeah.
Heated seats.
What about in Africa or in Ghana that we have perception that African things are not good.
Oh, that
This
was
is what
so
most of
true.
the
Yes,
time
it's
we
true.
had. We say, we think this car standing here right now, it's like
A little bit.
Toyota Hilux or let's say what Americans call Tacoma. It's
Or the-
just
or
the
the-
same
or the
thing.
Ford.
Or the Ford 150.
The Ford Ranger.
Yeah, the Ranger.
Yeah, the F-150 is bigger.
Is bigger than this,
The
yeah.
Ford Ranger
The
is
Ranger,
about this
yes.
size. Yeah,
But we don't even buy it.
exactly.
Aside this pickup, Kantang has a lot of
They do.
small cars
They do.
Yes,
which
they
they can use it nowadays. The Uber drivers, Bolt drivers, Yango drivers are using Toyota Yaris and all
Yes,
those,
yeah.
which they can use some of Kantanke's
Smaller
little
vehicles.
cars.
They have so beyond the apart from the Omama pickup truck, they also have the Amonima, which is what we're driving. It's basically like the size
The
of
little
Yaris.
one.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a small one.
okay,
That's,
the little
that's what
ones,
we
yeah.
had. That's what we
That's
started
what we're
with.
driving before we basically swapped and added some of course more money to get this
get
one.
us,
And then they also have a newer version of an older version that they call the K71, which is more. It's molded like the Pontiac vibe.
Pontiac vibe. Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah.
then actually, I had a conversation with the account
The
officer.
Pontiac vibe. That's what I brought right now.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
they have
Pontiac
that type.
vibe,
They have
yeah.
the Pontiac vibe type, which they call it's a new iteration of the K71. And I actually had a conversation. The accounts officer called me 2 days ago saying that it's going out for 90,000. Because we deal with expatriates.
Yeah.
Black people coming in, to repatriate and
90,000,
we help people to
90,000,
buy
90,000
vehicles,
Ghana.
amongst other things, on repatriate to Ghana. So we have that,
Yeah,
relationship
vibe,
with
yeah.
them. Yeah. So he just told me, we have this new car out now for 90,000. So you can tell your people if they are interested. And beyond that, they also have the Onante 4, which is like a Land Cruiser type.
Okay.
Yeah, V8 engine, and then what else do they have? They have of course the higher grades like the ultra luxury type, like the limousine types, and so on and so forth. And they have other farm machinery that helps with mechanized
like,
Yeah,
tractors
they
and all
just showed that
those,
at their
yeah.
expo.
Yeah, at the recent expo, they showed this, water sprinkler thing that has a very wide arm.
agricultural.
And then basically, it's able to run through the farm, and then for the purposes of irrigation, water whatever crops you may be growing, and so on.
So
and so
there's
forth.
a strong
so-
African intelligence and technology. I mean, even at some of the biggest companies that we can think of, like there's still African engineers involved. And if for us, it's like some of us, we come with that mindset, like you said, okay, the African product is not going to be as good, but that's not true. We have been able to develop a number of technology. Even in Benin, there's a guy there that's developing laptops and computers, smartwatches, smart glasses. Here in Ghana, they're developing the car.
there's a
So the
lot,
thing
yeah,
is
a
so
lot.
much like
we have
not-
the innocent
Innocent
Yeah.
And I
and
think recently
Nigeria.
I saw Zimbabwe, the young guy developed, started from TV. I was watching it yesterday. Started from
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
He developed car, he developed helicopter. And the one thing is, the TV is powerless with I think it's non-wireless electric,
And I'm thinking like the African engineers here, they do it at such a degree, even with the odds against them more than in other places.
Yes.
And they're still able to create this ingenious technology
that's it.
against the odds.
Nuggets, yeah.
Against the odds.
that, yeah.
Sometimes having to source the materials from other places. And that's okay, because right now you have to be able to develop the industry. And even some of the top companies in the US that
Do
do
the same
technology
thing.
do the same thing.
Exactly.
They might design it in the US, but it gets built somewhere else, or they
Somewhere,
ship
yeah,
they ship the
that's
materials
true, yeah,
in.
yeah.
So at the end of the day, we got to get out that mindset and just focus on the fact that we are trying to build power for our people, which means we have to promote and buy the things that we are producing.
Producing, yeah.
Yes, because we have to believe in it. We have to believe in it. Even if sometimes, like, if we have complaints or you have something that's not right, go tell them. Let them know. Give them feedback to improve their product. That's what they do, and they can be able to innovate for the next time. But we just have to, if we just kind of stay with that principle, because the principle of I'm going to support my people in every possible sector that I can. If a black person is doing it in that sector, I'm going to do it. So if they have a phone, if they have a car, clothing, any area of activity, I'm going to go there first. Yes, I'm going to go there first before I go to look somewhere else. And now there's some areas of activity where we have yet to enter into that market, but that's a place of opportunity for us, also for the diasporans, you know, to be able to come in and for us who are here on the continent as well to collaborate, you know. But at the end of the day, you got to work with that. You got to be principle minded first, because that will help us, I think, to be able to get some headway. The more that we are able to do that and to get out that mindset that our products they are up to par. And they are very, sometimes even exceeding, because they can even, I feel like the African engineers understand the issues that are happening on the continent. So they can create products even better than, because they understand what we need, what our technological needs are. It may not be the same as in other places. It doesn't have to be. And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. So it's, you know, I'm very happy. I love riding around in our Kantanka, and people just be like, Kantanka, they always yelling at the car.
See, you are unique.
Yes. They always yelling because they don't see it. And they have so many questions about, you know, about the car and how it works. And we answer them, you know, and let them know, like, you can do it. You can, even if you can't get this one, but try to support as much as you can with the local stuff and stop buying so much foreign stuff. Because that at this point, that's what's keeping the economy down. The more that we buy and purchase foreign products, they are capitalizing and taking that money back to their nation. But if we start, if all of us, if just the Ghanaian government focus on buying Kantankas, how that industry would grow, and then we would be able to move forward. So, being able to just be able, if like the Ghanaian government, they just bought a fleet of Kantankas. That's all they drove. That was their presidential ride.
I'm talking about this VA
just starting with that. Just starting with that. Now, what is that going to impress upon the Ghanaian consciousness? That, we respect and understand our own. So I'm going to start maybe buying some other local things. I'm telling you. And I'm going to start. So when we do that, then you start seeing the shift of the economy. Even just we just kind of got to get out of that mindset. And I hope that the government of Ghana will also be involved as well to be able to promote more of the local business and kind of keep out or deter some of the foreign investment in the way that it is, or at least being able to control it to some degree. Because, like, for example, if you have like a Uber or a Bolt, but let's say there's a Ghanaian version of that wants to be able to compete in the market, how are they going to compete? So local businesses, so that they can be able to go.
Exchange or something.
Right.
Yeah.
That's small cost.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
imagine if that company was just getting used the way that all those other companies are getting used, how that would be able to increase the rideshare business in that one area. So I think that that's just a mindset. It takes, like he was saying earlier about history. It's about having your consciousness reflecting your character, not just about, I've read something I can recite or quote all the empires and Kemet. No, you have to also be able to personify that, live that in your character and what you're doing, being fair, being honest, being truthful, being respectful, being able to put your people first, being able to wear your own clothes, eat your own food. You don't have to be perfect. I'm not saying you have to. It's not always easy, because we have gone through this process of being very white in our minds. So it takes some time for your mind to get back to a blacker hue. I get it. So take your time, but move at a pace that you can be able to really become your true African self in every area. Like for me, even at one point, I used to wear like long, I might get in trouble with some of the weaves and all that type of stuff. Right? I used to really, I thought I was cute, and I thought that was like a way, but I realized I was doing it out of an insecurity because I wasn't comfortable with my own hair. That's right? Yeah. And so I wasn't comfortable with my own texture. And so what is that about? Where did that come from? And so I had to go on a journey. My principle is I'm going to do everything within myself to be a true Black woman, and that means also wearing my hair naturally. And now I'm like, I don't even. It's like if I put on anything else other than this, I'm like, it's too high. I don't want that. No, like I don't want that to. As my daughter, I have a daughter, to be able to show her that as well, so that she can see as a young Black woman, it's about how you live out the culture and live out the knowledge, because that becomes a problem for us abroad. We get a lot of information about culture, about history, and we just can have these long-winded debates about how this scholar or that's not. And then at the same time, then you have men who are not there for their families. But you want to be talking about the revolution, or you have women who are not truly moral in how they moving, and you want to talk about like. So I think that's just a very, for me, how I've gotten to in my life so far right now is like I want to live out the consciousness in my movement, be able to be myotic in how I'm moving. And so I encourage that for everybody. Whatever you learn about in history, whatever you see, just always try to think about how can I apply this to my behavior? Because we need better behavior and like a code of conduct among us as a people.
True, yeah.
And the more we have that code of conduct, I think we will see better results if we all just move with the similar mindset. Because like you were saying, when the Chinese, when they come and they have their projects, nobody is forcing them to go hire the other Chinese people. Nobody puts that into a contract. But they have the code of conduct and the mindset to think, I'm going to bring in my own folk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the more that we can kind of start to do that and see that in every area, I think we'll be a lot further ahead as a people. That's what I think.
The last one lies on you.
My last words would be, I want to show our beautiful daughter. Can you bring her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me bring the baby.
Yeah,
and also,
my last words.
Yeah, that's great. That's a beautiful last words. And you know what? One thing that I do ask people anytime that I go for a conversation like this, what advice will you have for the African youth?
They want to see her.
Let's say in Ghana, the boys, the middles, the African queens, the kings are going through the back door to the Western world. And you see, in a couple of times during this COVID time, the government has to go and bring some from Middle East, and some of them lose their life going to Europe. I mean, the boys and the girls as well. Not only Ghanaians, a lot of African people. What advice do you have for this youth? Because it's our future that is going like this. People think that people are traveling to other side to see green pasture, as we talk about. What advice do you have for those people?
It's very difficult to get people to understand the condition that we're in. We're also learning, and sometimes I'm sure that for the most part, it is because of the control of reality. Reality has been skewed to the design of the white hegemony, white terror, world domination, and all of that. And I think that haste and that feeling to migrate and of course literally suffer, it's born out of.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So.
She was with me. She was with me when I got my citizenship that day.
Wow! Oh wow!
Yes,
that's great.
She was with us.
So you are citizen.
She was born here in Ghana. Everybody was trying to tell me to go back to the U.S. to give birth. I said no. I wanted to give birth on the continent because I want my spiritual lineage needs to know that they have returned home.
Yeah, that's true.
So she came. She was born here in Ghana, and she was with me when I got my citizenship. So actually, she was Ghanaian before me.
Oh, hey, beautiful. So what's your name?
She's called Malebna Namalo Jenny
Malebna
Gemni. I'm sorry.
Wow.
She has
That's a beautiful name, but it's a bit long.
Yeah.
Is it a
number of names? So Malebna is from the Gruni.
Okay.
It means mother has returned.
All right.
Namalo is from the Dagaba. It means grandmother's blessing.
In honor of my mom.
Okay.
Right. Jene is the name of a town in Mali.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very important economic entrepot, for people who are transacting on the trans-Saharan trade. So it has all of that economic and then cultural and intellectual history. So she's named after that town.
Okay.
And then Ragemni is an ancient Egyptian or ancient, Kemetiu name that basically means the sun, Ra, has found me, Gemni. So Ragemni. And Sungsori is our last name, which means the right path. So Malebna, Namalo, Jene, Ragemni, Sungsori.
Sorry.
And just to round up on the point that you were making, so basically the control of imagery and then the control of reality has basically been a disservice to the youth, which is the reason why they're crazy about migration to go and enslave themselves, in various conditions, serving the white nation at the service of the black nation. So they, of course, if they are patient and willing, should at least try to look back into history and draw from the lessons of history and understand the implications of their actions when they are unpatriotic. Because whatever they go to do out there, in Europe, so-called, or America, or whatever the case may be, is basically helping to continue to entrench the dominance of these oppressor nations or oppressive nations. So this youth, or this upcoming youth, Namalo, of course, she's born into a black family that is still developing.
Yeah, as in he wants more children.
Exactly. And we're going to make sure that she has the right consciousness. We're going to make sure that she has the right education, an African-centered, a black-centered education that's going to give her the roadmap, that's going to lay out what her purpose is supposed to mean, that's going to give her the patriotism that those unfortunate African youth who do not have, who are interested as a result of that to go and serve the white nation to the detriment of the black nation. We're going to make sure that she doesn't suffer that disease.
Okay.
Those are my last
and
points.
Also teach her colleagues around or
exactly.
Yeah.
She's going to be a continuation.
Yeah, you see, you just laugh and you like it. Yeah.
It's going to be a continuation of what me and her have started and we'll continue to do until we transition whenever the time. So thank you very much.
The Black Nation got a new edition. Hey.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my brother. And I'm glad to have you on the platform. And guys, keep watching Kwaminat TV. Like, subscribe, and share, and give me likes on this video. Leave comments, and anything that you don't understand, kindly come back. Just leave comments and we'll reply you. I think there's a lot of questions that I know you guys are going to ask me, but please ask and direct to him. He will answer you.
I will answer him. I will support him.
Business will do that.
Answer for us.
Yeah, you see, beautiful. You see, my little one was also answered for that. You see, fantastic. Guys. Most of the time when we sit down and talk, I said I don't do interview. It's a conversation. This is a conversation. So I don't ask many questions. I leave them to share their story, the African story. What we are talking about is just about Africans. And I know that, and I think you're going to agree with me that no one can make Africa great again except we the Africans. One of my uncles says, no one can help you better than yourself. And I think it's the same concept. No one can help Africa better than we Africans, better than we black people. Whether you are in Swaziland or Switzerland, or you are in America, or you are in Greenland. So far as Peter Tosh said, you are black.
African.
We are the only people
man. You're an African.
Help ourselves and we can make Africa great again. So guys, come back home and let's make Africa great again. Keep watching Kwaminat TV.
Nominal
Like,
ready.
subscribe, and share. I'm still the youngest old boy. I sign out.
Hey.
So guys, as you said, you see, this is made in Ghana car, made in Africa. Anywhere in Africa, you can just come to Ghana, come and get it and export it to wherever. You can drive it from here to wherever in Africa that you want. This is Kantanka or Mama. And this pickup is basically equivalent with, it's even stronger than Toyota Hilux and other Tacomas and Ford Range, and this is one of the best in Africa. But then you see, lack of showcasing. You don't see our cars, but this car is made, all the parts were made here in Ghana. Everything was made here in Ghana, and not far from here. Maybe about 60, 70 miles, not even up to. Just beside Accra, this car was made. And come with me and see how the car, inside of the car is. Very safe, leathering, see? Oh, see? Beautiful. What can you can get everything here. You can use your Navi, this one as a Navi or as a whatever it is. It's just basically like this, the modern cars, Western cars that we have. Everything is made in Ghana. So Kantanka automobiles are made in Ghana, and all sort of cars, pickups, farming equipment, small little cars, economic cars, and SUVs, any car at all, you can get it. So guys, mostly if you are in Africa and Ghana here, for you to go to the Western car companies or the Asian car companies and get it, why don't you get what is your own? Get what is your own, my brother.
That's right.
You are the one who used this car. How do you think about this car?
Oh, it's solid. It's solid. And I move around a lot. I've gone to the roughest parts. I mean, if you're in Ghana, you know about Ghanaian roads, especially when we're going to go into the remote parts. And I've gone to the roughest places that you can think about. And this car has been solid. I've used it also on highways and then byways, and it's basically a good buy. And it's a service to me. It can be a service to other black people who are, of course, going to be in need of a car to move around and so on and so forth. So definitely, we can support our own. We can support black and be black.
Support black, be black, travel black, eat black, wear black, drink black, and sleep black.
That's right.
As well.
That's right.
You see, if you have this car and you are traveling all over, you know, Ghana roads, African roads, not only Ghana, I travel some part of Africa as well. African roads are bad. Ghana roads is also one of the baddest. If you have this car, you don't need to worry. You can drive anywhere at all in the whole Ghana. I said 2023, we're going to bring you good things about marketing, about hyping Africa. I mean, promoting African businesses. This is one of the African businesses. This is one of the major African businesses that we should promote. We should talk about it. If you are in Ghana, get into Ghanaian products. Let's promote Ghana. Let's promote African business, and let's support black business, as Marcus Garvey said.
That's right.
We should promote. Be black. Think black.
Mm-hmm.
Keep watching Kwaminat TV. Like, subscribe.
Black power.
Well,